Today I'm going to be going over the basic principles of twisting bar stock. Now I'm not going to be going over all the fancy stuff that people are doing now, the pineapple twists and all the rest of it. This is just to give you a working knowledge of how to create a good, solid, even twist in a bar. Because blacksmithing is no different than other trades. The thing that separates the novice from the master is the basic knowledge of the essential principles of the work that needs to be done and the attention to detail that develops because of that knowledge. So the goal of this video is to make you understand that even in a job as simple as twisting a bar, there are things that need to be paid attention to so that you can bring the work up to the next level. The tools are pretty basic. Most people just start off with a pair of adjustable wrenches. They don't need to be top quality wrenches, just something that'll hold on to the bars. If you want to have a pair of wrenches that are just dedicated to twisting bars, then you're going to need to round off the edges of the jaws. These sharp corners are going to mar the work if the wrench is sitting anywhere where the bar is hot. If you see these old style adjustable wrenches in an antique shop or a junk shop somewhere, pick them up because they're ideal for twisting bars. The jaws are 90 degrees to the handles, and it's really easy to add an additional handle to apply even pressure to the twist. So these are used a lot for twisting. And the same thing applies to these old style monkey wrenches, but because of their weight, they're really only useful for twisting very heavy bars. So as you probably already know, a twist develops when one end of a bar is held stationary and you rotate the other end of the bar. And the more you twist, the tighter the wraps are going to be. But as you can see here, the twist hasn't developed evenly. The center of the twist, where the bar was the hottest, twisted more than the beginning of the twist and the end of the twist where the bar was colder. You can see how this section is glowing a little tiny bit. So if I twisted this bar some more, this center section would twist even tighter and the ends of the bar would stay the same. And that's fine if you just need a short twist, but quite often you need to develop a twisted element that needs to combine the twists from several heats. So that transitional area needs to flow the same as the rest of the twist. You can't have this interrupted twist where you have tight wraps, loose wraps, and then tight wraps from the following heat. So you can see here how the same pattern is developing. I didn't wrap it as tightly, but you can see how the center of the bar is heated more than the ends. But the problem is now I have an area that doesn't transition very well. Now one approach to solving this problem is to reheat the area that needs to be twisted tighter. And that's the reason I didn't finish the twist in the previous heat. That lower section is still going to keep twisting, but now the hot area is going to catch up to the rest of the twist. So by repeatedly putting the bar back in the fire and moving the heat around, I can fine-tune the twist to get all the wraps to be fairly similar. They don't have to be identical, they just have to look similar and have a nice transition to them. Now I know as somebody starting out, this is going to seem like I'm just trying to overcomplicate a pretty simple process, but at some point you're going to be working on a project and you're going to need to have a series of twists sitting next to each other, and for the thing to look right, they're all going to have to be the same. You know, they have to be the same length, they have to have the same number of twists, they have to be wrapped the same. So, you know, you need to be able to make those fine adjustments to each one to bring them in line and have them look right. So this is a pretty common process. It isn't necessary if you're just making a poker and you don't really care how the twist turns out. But if you're working on a fence or something, or a larger project that has a number of twists and they all have to be identical, they're all going to need tweaking. It's relatively hard to make each twist come out exactly the same right out of the fire. They all need a little bit of fine-tuning to get them to look right. The other way to approach this, and probably the most common, is to simply cool down the areas that are twisting too fast. By pouring water on the areas that are moving ahead of the rest of the twist, that drops the temperature of that area of the twist, so the cold areas of the twist are now the hottest areas of the twist, and they'll twist more than the parts that you've already done. This process works very well, but it's easier if you have somebody helping you with this, so you can concentrate on the twisting and they can just pour on the areas that need to be cooled down. The other really simple form of twist is called a reverse twist, and to do that you hold both ends of the bar stationary and you twist the center of the bar. So what results is a twist going in one direction that transitions into a twist going in the other direction. So now you have a twisted bar, but it's not likely going to be straight. So you don't want to be straightening it by hammering it on the anvil with a hammer, because that'll dent the edges. So what you use is a block of wood, and you try to keep the twist off of the face of the anvil. So you just hammer down on the high sides and keep rotating the bar around until it straightens out. Here's the center of that reverse twist, and this was done with the crescent wrenches that had the sharp edges to the jaws, and you can see the markings that were left by the corners of the jaws. If I had used a pair of wrenches that had rounded over jaws, the transition would have been very smooth, just like this line here. You can also put twists on bars that don't have a square cross section. Here I'm flattening two edges of the bar to make it a little bit more rectangular, and I'm rounding the corners a little bit. Here I just want to quickly go over what I was doing in the second example, where I was pouring water on the twist to cool it down, because the video I don't think was very clear. So the first heat resulted in a twist that had fairly tight twists at the beginning, and then it's opened up towards the end where the bar was colder. The next heat kind of developed the reverse pattern. It started off with a slow twist, and then it tightened up because the heat was further down that section of the bar. So what I was doing is I was watching both of these sections, and I was especially watching this center section, because the minute that stopped rotating and I saw that the end of the bar was continuing to rotate because it was hot, I applied water on that end of the bar to cool it down. So cooling that end of the bar allowed me to force the twist up into the other end of the bar and tighten up that area in the center, because it was now hotter than the section that I cooled down. And using this method, you can adjust a twist to have it look any way that you want. Hi, I'm Dennis, and thanks for watching. As most of you know, for the past few years I've been producing YouTube videos on a part-time basis. I am now looking to turn that hobby into a full-time job, and for that I really need your help. A small monthly contribution from a really small number of viewers will generate the income that I need to achieve that goal. So if you're interested in the work that I'm doing and you want to lend your support, please click on the Patreon icon at the bottom of the screen. Thank you. We'll see you next time.